Okay, this is part 1 of what if Deku had shadow manipulation. Let's get straight into the video. Let's start off at the Quirk Doctor. Deku's Quirk, well, in this universe, I don't know if in the regular My Hero Academia universe that you can tell if, if they have a quirk or not by just taking them to the Quirk Doctor. I guess you can, but yeah, so, yeah, you can, because Deku didn't have a quirk, but Iko still took him to the Quirk Doctor, so, yeah. Alright, so Deku's quirk is basically, for now, while he's still little, all he can do is step into his shadow and go 5 feet at max, maybe 3 if he really tries, to just by, is the easiest for him. And while he's moving, he can't be seen, but as soon as he stops moving, you can see his shadow. So he can do it in a really lit up place, but if he stands still, you can see his shadow. So he still has his physical body. It's just that it turns invisible because he basically steps in, his spirit steps into his shadow and his body just disappears basically to the human eye. So let's say if you have Froppy's quirk, you'll be able to see Deku, but he'll be glitching in and out basically. So you'll see him for 2 seconds and then he'll disappear. Then you'll see him for 5 seconds and then he'll disappear. But it's just random times he'll glitch in and glitch out if you have a quirk like Froppy's. So basically, if you have any animal quirk that gives you the abilities of it, every ability of the animal, say you have a bunny quirk, it just gives you super, it makes you jump really high, and it doesn't make you have bunny ears and a bunny tail. It makes you like carrots and all that stuff. It makes you whatever blood type bunnies are or whatever. If it doesn't turn you into basically a full-on bunny, you can't see Deku. So that's how Deku's quest is gonna work until he gets older. When he gets older, he'll be able to do shadow whip, basically, where he makes a whip made out of shadows, shadow sword, and a shadow spear and stuff like that. Maybe a shadow wall too, and a shadow trampoline, maybe where he can jump off his shadows. Anyway. Let's time skip to where he's going to unlock his quirk because he still hasn't unlocked it. Took him to the Quirk Doctor because she was worried. But now that she knows that he's going to get a quirk, she's not worried anymore. Okay. So, another scene where it's this person laying on the floor and Bakio is about to bully them. It's basically that scene where Deku runs up and says something if you want to hurt them you have to get through me. I think that's something that he said. I don't know, but it's when they were little kids, that scene. That's basically where he gets his quirk. Bakio is about to explode him, but he stepped into his shadow and tried running at Bakio, but instead of running at Bakio, he stepped into his shadow and moved 2 feet in front of moved 2 feet towards Bakio, and then he stood still because he was just trying to run up a little bit. And then when he stood still, Bakio could see his shadow, but he couldn't see Deku. So he's like, wait, what's happening? I can see his shadow, but I can't see Deku. When Deku, so that's basically Deku stayed like that for, let's say, a good 5-10 hours until he reappeared and he was asleep. And then he basically slept there till Inko, because Inko was looking for him basically the whole time. She finally got the police involved. The police went to to go look for him, found him just laying there asleep on the floor, where Inko said she looked she did look, but he wasn't there. I guess he went back. That's what they think, or she just didn't see him because it was dark. But he's there now, so what does it matter? Iko takes him home, lays him on the bed. He sleeps for about 4 days because he was in that. He's still 4. Like, he's 4 years old, and he was in that form for like 5 hours, just laying there in his shadow. Which his shadow drains his energy the longer that he's in it, because it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like all the evil thoughts and like all his like suppressed emotions are basically like flying around in his shadow 24/7. So every time he steps into his shadow, he has to hear everything that he suppresses. Like, say that he really hates somebody, all he hears is kill them, hurt them, blame them for this, blame them for that. If he gets mad at himself, or if he hates himself, he hears suicidal stuff. Like whatever happened, like whatever he doesn't like, it goes into his shadow, and when he steps into his shadow, he hears it times 10, and he can't suppress it because he's not there. His mind isn't there, but his spirit is. So it's like, you can hear all that stuff now. Anyway, I didn't set a timer for this. I really only want this video to be 10 minutes because I feel like recording because I haven't recorded in a long time, and I really want to start recording again. But at the same time, I'm kind of babysitting, and I'm babysitting my siblings, and one of them are still awake, and they want this phone. So I'm going to this time skip to the start of the anime and run that through like regular. Deku uses his quirk to get to school, so he's still into heroes, but All Might isn't his favorite hero anymore. It's just going to be a hero with a shadow quirk. I don't know what the hero's name will be. Most likely like Shadow King, Shadow Prince, maybe Shadow Master, just to be funny. But that's going to be that. He makes it to school. 10 months of training. He finally learns how to make a shadow wall because he still went to go move the trash. But, when the trash almost fell on him, he grabbed his shadow base. Like, he didn't grab his shadow, but he reached his hand out to step into his shadow because he knew that could protect him. But instead of him stepping into his shadow, he like pushed it up and it extended and made a solid wall, and all the trash just stood on there for 10 seconds. And in those 10 seconds, Deku stepped back, pushing the trash into back onto the pile as he stepped back. And when he stepped back, the shadow wall cracked because he hasn't used it. That was his first time using it, so he couldn't use it that well. So it cracked, it broke, and it was basically like these shadowy, weird shards of his self just all around the floor. And basically every time he makes a shadow wall, or if he manipulates his shadows, pieces of his shadow will crumble and break all around whatever place he's in. It'll break in let's say a 20, maybe, no, let's break it down a little bit, a 10 feet, 15 feet radius around him, and he can basically teleport to any little one of those pieces because he still can step into his shadow and step out. It's just, that's little pieces of his self, and he steps into his own shadow. So that's how that's going to work. So, and he can break off, let's say he cuts off his leg, not his actual leg, but his shadow leg. He grabs his shadow leg and makes a wall. It'll, instead of breaking his whole, shadow, it'll just break the leg. But he doesn't know that yet. Alright, so I'm going to skip to the the entrance exam. This is exactly where I wanted to leave it off. So, the Shadow Master signing out. Sorry if this is a short video, but like I said, I am babysitting, and I started school late because I'm doing online school, and it doesn't start until, this next month on the 7th. So I'll try to record more often when I get a chance to, but I've been really busy. I've been having a lot of family problems, so I've just been dealing with that. But I'm starting to try to record again, so I'll see what I can do. This is Shadow Master signing out. See you next time.